dazzling display of lights and modern architecture, the Kingdom Tower in Riyadh is as flamboyant as its billionaire owner, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal. One of the world's richest men, he trots the globe and rubs shoulders with world leaders. Now he's under arrest at a hotel just a few kilometers away from his famous building. Alwaleed is among 11 princes and dozens of officials facing corruption charges. On the streets, some are calling for royalty to be held accountable.
God willing, everything that happened yesterday is only the beginning of what is planned, from correcting mistakes, correcting ministries, and correcting any injustices against the general population.
Corruption should have been fought a long time ago because it's corruption that delays society's development.
Now worth nearly $17 billion, Alwaleed claims he's a self-made billionaire who began his career with just $30,000. But in the past, he's been accused of being a frontman who's helped other royals skim fortunes from Saudi Aramco. His business empire includes stakes in Citigroup, Twitter, eBay, and dozens of other companies, which could be rattled if Alwaleed's assets are seized. He is also the second biggest shareholder in Rupert Murdoch's News Corp and owns Rotana, the largest media company of the Arab world. Alwaleed doesn't just like to buy media outlets, he uses them regularly to express his dissent to the kingdom's laws. And some believe it's his mouth, not his money, that's put him on the wrong side of the king.
I think the government's going to have quite a difficult time convincing a skeptical international community that this is purely about anti-corruption, even if that is the case. There's always going to be suspicions that this is related to kind of certain political calculations or agendas, but it's clearly putting a lot of people on notice, at the very least, that anyone can be investigated for corruption at this point.
Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will lead the investigations against all accused royals. While the case could drag on for months, Alwaleed and others may already be marginalized from the House of Saud, just as the famous Kingdom Tower is overshadowed by bin Salman's new pet project, the Riyadh Financial District. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
And Mobin joins us now in the studio. Great to have you, Mobin. You were in Saudi Arabia recently. Did anybody see this purge coming?
As you mentioned, we were there when Donald Trump was visiting the kingdom, and at that time there was a lot of talk about how the deputy crown prince, who Prince Salman was at the time, would eventually be stepping into the role of crown prince. And of course that happened much faster than most had expected, even the outgoing crown prince perhaps. And once again, this step has come within hours. A committee was made, arrests took place, and then the announcement came. It seems that this has become quite a speciality of the Crown Prince, being able to move very quickly and before many can expect it.
So what should we expect next in Saudi Arabia then?
That's an interesting question. Look, the Prosecutor General issued a statement this afternoon saying that phase 1 of the anti-corruption drive is over. But this is unprecedented territory in the kingdom. So what will follow? Will it just be civil proceedings? Will it be criminal proceedings? We know that the Commission has already been given powers to not just arrest, but also to seize property, to put travel bans in place. So what needs to be seen now is of these very powerful government figures, former ministers and even princes, will there be just fines? Will their assets be seized, which in the case of people like Alwaleed are sizable and international? So of course a lot of questions hanging over exactly how this commission will proceed, and throw into that mix the corruption perceptions index. The kingdom scores 46, less than 50 out of a possible score of 100. So clearly very little is known about just how the law is enacted there.
You mentioned Alwaleed. We've talked a little bit about him, but how does he fit into this picture? What are his investments, and he's got investments everywhere, doesn't
Exactly.
he?
As was mentioned in the report, he has investments in a lot of major companies, but perhaps the ones that might be most affected are the startups and the new the companies that are in new areas in the sharing economy. For example, Careem, Lyft, both companies depend heavily on his investments, and both of those companies are in the kind of position where they need further funding. If, and I might be getting ahead of myself, if his assets are seized, will the government which takes over in place be as aggressive as Prince Walid has been?
Another story to keep an eye on. Mobin Nasir, thank you very much indeed.